Welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the Panic Room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow, and with me, as always, is a man who some say has a R2-D2 hidden in his house for those lonely nights. All I know is I call him Stan.
Oh, it's not hidden. It's right there. It's right by the front door.
Oh, man. Just letting everybody see.
Oh, yeah. It's got a... No, never mind.
Oh, man. We had once again, a very eventful week within the game. Not only from information dropping, but errors, I guess. Misinformation. You know,
I don't know, man. There's so much stuff.
Yeah. But before we dive right into that, I want to know, how's your week been?
It's nothing exciting happened at all.
Nothing? Just chasing around that foster kitten?
Yeah, pretty much. She is still just looking for a home and being crazy. Kittens are fun. I love them.
Oh, yeah. They're nuts. You never know what they're going to do.
Yeah. You had a pretty good week.
Yeah, I went through, pretty much finished up my deck. I have a little bit of finished trim work that I want to do, but man, it was actually a gorgeous weekend for once. Woke up early, was like, man, I'm going to get that deck finished. Started working on it. Didn't think anything of it. Went through, got done about noon. I was working on it. I was like, all right, let me go inside. Went through, sudden realization. Yeah, man, I can feel that burn happening on my back. Just didn't think anything of it. It's like a nice cool, like 75 outside. Gorgeous out, gorgeous temperature. Didn't warm up yet, and just did not dawn on me until I went in for lunch and could feel just the heat radiating off my back and shoulders. I was like,
it's the worst.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be rough.
Yeah, there's no denying it's summer here. It is well into the stupid hot category already.
Yeah, we're getting that these last couple days, and tomorrow's supposed to be up in the mid-90s, low to mid-90s, so definitely finally getting there. It was a mistake that I know better, so I paid the price of having to wear, put on a shirt, go through, cover up, put on hat to try to block and try to prevent any more nastiness to happen. But it was, we got through it and finished up the deck. The other thing I saw was on Mobile Gamer did a video on this game that was a mod from, I believe it was from,
I think it was Dota.
Yes.
Yeah.
With this auto chess. And started
I've been
playing
hearing
that.
a lot about that.
It is very fun. It's basically a turn-based strategy game in which you go through and you're upgrading your characters within this these matches, and it's I guess cross between, kind of reminds me of the actually card games like Magic and things like that, where you're going through and basically you buy characters and everything to be able to level up and going through and refresh based on how you do.
Do you actually buy them with money, or do you just earn them and buy them with in-game currency?
It's in-game currency, but it goes through and it's random based on the match. You don't actually buy a deck. You have to auto-create a deck every time, so it's fair. You can't outspend someone.
But you can't spend real money in the game?
Nope. Well, you can for, like, kind of like Fortnite for skins to upgrade a different type of map, a different type of character look, but the actual gameplay is not affected by paying.
Okay.
So, been playing that a little bit. That's very interesting. Matches can go a little long, but still fun. Then, oh man, well, I guess it was a couple days ago. SpaceX launched another Falcon Heavy. This was a night launch. They had I forget the effect they go through and call it, in which you actually see the sunset and the rocket actually hits it, and it almost looks like a aurora borealis. The colors and everything for the
Oh,
exhaust
that's pretty cool.
plumes. So yeah, this color just go through. They landed both side boosters. They tried to land this center core. No, I think it was close to 700 miles out to sea, and they weren't able to burn the engines at reentry to kind of slow it down and alleviate the heat from reentry because it expended so much of its fuel to put everything the second stage up into orbit that when it came down, I guess it burnt through part of the heat shield, and the camera on the drone ship, you go through and you see the center core coming down, you see the perfect glow right centered up on the drone ship, and then all of a sudden it just shoots out straight ahead of the drone ship and hits the water, and you just see it explode. And apparently because it broke through the heat shield, it actually messed with one or more of the engines, and the computer system noticed that, said it wasn't making corrections quick enough, and it was going down too fast and was about to absolutely annihilate the drone ship. It basically aborted the landing and went out to sea.
Huh.
You know, just abort. You're like, hey, 15-story buildings come down. Oh, nope, we're going too fast. Just abort. Let me throw it out to sea. It's all good, guys.
That's great. Let's build another one.
Yeah, just 700 miles down the range, too. And people can't figure out how to beat Darth Revan. They can figure out how to land a 15-story building. It's absolutely crazy. The other thing that's actually happening, we're recording here on the 27th. They're actually launching another rocket company, Rocket Lab, is doing a launch with their Electron rocket. They're kind of cool because they just do 3D printed engines, and everything's 3D printed. So they just go through, print it out, send it up. They do lighter loads, and they have what they call a battery electro turbo pump. So as battery technology increases, the turbo pumps can last longer, which will increase the payload.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
and get away from this heat hellscape of a planet.
That's right. The quicker we can do it, the better, right?
Right, exactly.
Or start mining asteroids. Bring that good resources back down here and hopefully fix some stuff.
Maybe.
But enough what everybody else is accomplishing. Let's go into what you accomplished this week in the game.
I actually had a pretty good week in the game. I was getting ready for Grand Arena Championships, so I was kind of rounding out some of my weaker teams. We'll talk about how effective that was a little bit later, but I put my Zetas on Jedi Knight Anakin and General Kenobi.
All right.
So that finished out my supposed mallet-crushing Padme team.
Did you go through and look at the modding guide for the slow
I did,
Padme?
yeah.
And get your Padme within those ranges.
I thought I did. Just don't have what it takes. I'm going to strain harder. I gave it a few runs in Arena, and
Okay.
granted, I'm going against Arena-level mods, and just wasn't having a whole lot of luck with it. I'm going to go back to the drawing board. But did those, then that overrated character we talked about last week, I took Nest up to Gear 12.
All right. Peer pressure
Yeah.
wins out.
It did. Got My Sister Spirit up to Gear 12.
Ooh, man. All right.
And late to the party on this one, but I got Bastila Upright to Gear 12. She has not fallen, so she is still up. Yeah.
We get it. I'm just more baffled on the characters that you do have Gear 12 versus do not. It's like, hey, I had the whole team, and then, this Bastila, yeah, she's fine at Gear 11. I don't got to worry about her at Gear 12. Nest, never mind.
I never used her in Arena. I always used Chewbacca in her place.
If only you knew having Bastila in there and then calling in Grandmaster Yoda on just how much of a wrecking ball he is when that happens.
It was, but I was still getting first place every day, so I wasn't changing nothing.
Yeah, that is true. Well, until you went into Grand Arena, now everybody is getting
Yeah,
your
yeah.
flaw there. I did not realize you did not even take Bastille up there, so you can't split up your CLS team and having a very good CLS team and a very good Jedi Knight Revan team because of the way you were doing Arena.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning the errors of my ways, but that's okay. It's only exhibition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get that roster tweaked up and rounded out your Grand Arena teams there.
Looks like you have the secret weapon for Grand Arena.
Yes, I do. But before I get there, I did get B2 Super Battle Droid up to Gear 12.
That's good. He should kick ass in Geonosian territory battles at Gear 12.
Yeah, I'm hoping that was kind of the main reason. Now I'm working on Droidekas maxed other than getting final shards, and then I could take Droideka up to Gear 12 and deciding on B1 and IG-100 and the Geos and just what order I'm going to do that based on how this first Geo TB ends up. But the other thing I did,
drum roll, please.
It was rough because, see, I was farming this character. I said I was going to farm this character because I just needed it done. Get to 94 of 100 shards. Pull a Bronzium, 80 shard pull. Never pulled them from Bronzium before. 3.5 years in the game, never pull a Bronzium for them. All of a sudden, when I don't need it, I pull a Bronzium. So, your is now 7 stars.
Hell yeah.
So, another character knocked off the list down to... other than Droideka, because obviously I have to get Droideka. Rose and Emila Holdo are my last 2 hard node character farms.
I'm wanting to go a little harder on that. Let me back that phrase up a little bit. I want to gear up my Holdo a little better.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to
second,
do to Holdo?
What's that?
What do you want to do to Holdo?
I want to put some more gear on her. That's all.
Oh, is that where you're going with that?
Yeah. It's too early in the show to get that far off the rails yet. We've got a lot.
You wanted to...
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. We have gone way off the rails here. Let's try to steer these back on track a little bit by getting to the Star Wars news, and then we'll get right into the events.
Right, all the cool stuff y'all want to know about. Yeah, Star Wars, a lot of stuff going on. The Age of Resistance comics, they got a new set coming out, covering a little bit of Snoke's origin and kind of the corruption of Ben Solo. So a lot of people have been wanting that in the movies and kind of learn a little more about that. You'll be able to in comic book form.
I wonder if that'll include basically the clips that we got actually in the movie of Luke actually training Ben Solo and seeing that, what do you want to call it? Basically the point in which Ben actually looks at Luke or thinks of him as trying to control everything through fear and being afraid of Ben.
It could be. We'll see. Let's see. In other news, you probably saw in game we had a Jedi Fallen Order pop up. That if you clicked on it, took you to an extended gameplay video. It's about 30 minutes long, had a lot of the stuff we saw at E3. They added a little bit of that new football head-shaped alien guy. I forget his name. A little bit of the galaxy map. A section where he's climbing this AT-AT on Kashyyyk, driving it. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, still looks exciting. The Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, the little alien kind of reminds me of Rio Durant. I don't think they're the same species, but kind of a forearm short, sassy little alien.
Yeah, why not? Everybody's a little sassy.
Yeah, speaking of sassy, they released an excerpt from the Thrawn Treason book that's coming up. I think July 21st or 22nd. No, 24th, somewhere around there. And they had a scene where it's, I guess spoilers if you care, but it's Krennic, Tarkin, Thrawn, and this other admiral meeting with the Emperor to talk about Project Stardust and the TIE Interceptor and all of that, which is a really cool scene, kind of a little behind the scene Empire politics. And voice acting is pretty good, except for Krennic, surprisingly enough, which they nailed him in another book. And this one, his accent is just like a little bit more Cockney than you expect. It's almost like, all right, governor, gonna. No, I can't do a Cockney accent, but
Yeah, let's not go there. I mean, huh.
it was much funnier when I typed it out on Discord.
Yeah, I'm sure it was much funnier in your head, right?
Yeah, most things are.
Oh, all right. So, speaking of things in your head, you had this calendar in your head, right?
I actually have it on the screen because
Oh man,
I don't have enough RAM in my brain to remember much of anything, much less calendars.
So what are we looking at here? 'Cause
All
we
right,
did release the July calendar, and I did notice we do not have Malik listed yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be listed at this point. He's still going to be a surprise. There's been a lot of smoke around this, so I'm starting to expect that. I think we're going to get it.
I'm still on the side that I think they're still trying to really control the meta and are going to hold off on Malik, and it's actually going to be a longer time for Malik to come back than what the most recent legendary events have been.
Well, I don't know. That could be it. I'm also looking at the Geo territory battle platoons that require Malik, and we'll talk about it later. But they're pretty tight as is, and it would be nice to get another opportunity to get a few more Maliks on the board, just to round those platoons out. But in things that are confirmed, we have the Imperial Retaliation Geo territory battles going on now. People are having fun with that. We've got the Grand Arena Championship that finally kicked off. So we are on round 2 of that. We got our normal events, Rebel Roundup coming up this weekend, Home 1 in Dathomir, Places of Power and a Smuggled Run. Then going into July, we've got Chewbacca coming back along with the Millennium Falcon. That's going to kick off on the 4th.
Oh, joy. More Millennium Falcons than the Fleet Arena. I cannot wait.
Hey, that gives them a little more time to play with it until Negotiator comes out and just wrecks them. I meant the ship. Play with the ship. Or play with their Wookiee. Whichever one. And yeah, then on the 11th, we got a Vanilla Territory War. Actually, the 7th and the 11th. So that takes us to the next few weeks. Let's see. Looks like July 11th there is kind of weak on the calendar up through the 14th. We've got Rey coming back. We've got BB-8 coming back. Luke Skywalker's Hero's Journey coming back. So a lot of stuff toward the end of the month. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Malik just to throw it out there too, and maybe another marquee. For July. Yeah,
we'll see. Like I said, I'm still leaning towards them holding off on Malik to try to control the meta a little bit longer until we get through some of these Geo TB and they have a idea of how they want to go through and do like a rock paper scissors meta, or at least give a secondary team for the arena meta.
Yeah. And I guess the last bit of calendar news, we've got a few more days for patrons to enter in the raffle for the Mandalorian poster. So get your comment in the patron channel on our Discord to get entered in on that. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, that is definitely enough for a week, let alone anything else. So let's get into what we looked at this week. So we did have, like you said, Grand Arena Championship Expedition was scheduled. It did sort everybody. It did put them in matchups. We did set a defense, and then, yeah, not so much. We had a failure to launch within the game itself, and you, I, I didn't get in there to actually see what was happening, but I did see Discord. It appeared that no one could really attack and win anything.
Yes,
So
some people
everybody
could,
got
and
one credit.
right. Yes, some people were able to go in and attack. Some people weren't. So obviously, that's not an ideal situation. It was something with the cache information being used, screwed the whole system up. So they had to scrap it. We got one credit as the event rewards, and we got a. So some people end up getting three whole credits. Which it was funny more than anything, and they had to send something out as a placeholder
Yeah.
just so it wouldn't burn down the entire game. So that went out. Of course, people lost their minds. But we did get an apology, Zeta, some Omegas, and some of the new currency. So, hey, it was fine. It relaunched this week, so we're able to go in and actually play it this time, and it seems to be working fairly well.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting as far as some of the things that I saw when it first came over. First thing in my matchups, I don't know in your GP area that you're seeing this. I'm seeing a lot of division crossover.
Yeah, and kind of looking at some of their notes, we are going to see that. It seems like the first match make was a lot closer as far as GP goes. Because
I did not see that. I'm seeing the opposite for me.
really, I'm seeing
I
the opposite. But the first one, I was within a couple of thousand galactic power on my first matchups, and the second one, it's within 500,000. So it's
Yeah, the first setup I was going through my whole bracket, there was one guy at 4.6 million GP, and there was someone who was actually only at 3.92. I was like,
yeah,
man, that is
it's
a big discrepancy as far as having a bracket. The division crossover seems really weird to me. So it's like, hey, I'm going up against the Division 2, or the Division 2 guys, like, hey, I'm going up against everybody in Division 1, but I'm not getting the rewards if I beat them. Right
yeah.
now, I mean, right now, it doesn't make that big of a difference within the division because right now the rewards are the same. It sounds like that's going to change. And once the divisions change, it doesn't seem right that a Division 2 player is getting Division 2 rewards rather than Division 1 rewards if they defeat a Division 1 player.
Well, the division, the whole thing is just kind of unintuitive. The the payout for the entire event, as far as currency goes, is the same across your divisions, and that's by design. The differentiation is when you rank up in your own division, which you're placed in based on GP. So you get rewards when you promote up to a different league in your division. So that's where the real rewards are at. But
Then
you don't see that because it's not surfaced very well.
But then how does the division make any difference?
It
Everybody's
doesn't.
essentially in Division 1 then. It really doesn't make a difference whether you're in Division 1 or Division 12 or 11 or how many.
Well, it does because Division One promotions from your whatever league to Bronzium and Chromium league, you get better rewards promoting in that division. So you may get a stun gun in Division Two, but you'll get a something super stun gun in Division One. You're not going to get that. But.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair if you're Division 2 and you're defeating all Division 1 guys and not getting those rewards then. Unless,
Well,
I guess you get both
division
when you move
doesn't
up.
really mean much for matchmaking. They're using so many more data points than just your straight GP. So
Well,
it really doesn't matter.
speaking of data points within the division, also, when you went into the screen, I didn't realize it actually had listed the divisions on how it was actually segregated, being Division 1's anything above 4.5 million GP, 4 million GP, and things like that. So I was going on swgoh.gg and actually on the screen. and then using the guild tab to actually see where everybody in our guild was listed in their division. And from what I saw, at least for the first one, it was not 4.5 million. It looked like it was 4.8 million was the cutoff between Division 1 and Division 2. There were a lot of guys above me that were within our guild that are 4.6, 4.5, 4.7 that were all listed in Division 2 right after Grand Arena Championships launched the first time.
I didn't notice that. That's weird.
I did because I was in Division 2, and I'm like, I wonder where the cutoff is, and I didn't realize that screen was there at the time. So I was going through knowing what everybody within our guild's GP was. So I went on SWGOH, sorted by individual GP, and I could see where I was, and I'm like, all right. And then went on our screen and went through and tried to find everybody above me until I hit Division 1. And it seemed like it was 4.7 was Division 2. Next one up was 4.8, and they were in Division 1. I don't know if it's like that now. I would have to go back through and check. It was definitely interesting to me at the time. But like you said, the divisions really don't make a huge difference within rewards or anything. Or matchmaking or any other difference.
Yeah, not for matchmaking and not for the end of the event.
Yeah.
But you're encouraged to promote and win and achieve these things within the Grand Arena events in order to get these rewards. So you're not just joining, coasting, and getting a payout.
Yeah.
So I see why they did it. It's a complicated system, and it probably just needs to be surfaced a little better. But a few more of these, people will kind of get it.
Yeah, the system seems more. There's one too many layers to it, almost, is what it seems like to me.
Yeah,
they try to go through it. I mean, there's probably a reasoning for it, but I think they probably could have put it in the back end rather than putting it in the forefront and not trying to have the players try to figure out what benefit it is to actually move up.
Yeah, well, I think the main reason is to get people to beef the roster up and not sandbag it as much.
Yep.
But I don't know. 4.5 is kind of a weird cutoff. But I don't know. I'm not too upset about it. What was really kind of interesting is we have 8 teams at Division 2 and 1 that we have to place.
Yeah.
I think 3 drops down to 6.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. That's harsh. I went through there and I was
like it
oh.
because everybody has to. And I've always talked about this. I want to stretch these rosters out and use non-traditional teams.
Yeah, we were talking about this beforehand, and I agree. I do like not having to use traditional teams, but the way they're going through with this essentially a weighted GP on what characters, matching everybody up with very similar characters. The only difference is mods. Mods is the only difference between these teams now because they're matching you up with someone who is pretty much has a mirror roster of you. And then it doesn't come down to strategy. Well, I guess it does based on who you place on offense or defense, but it's how you set up your mods almost a week in advance sometimes.
Yeah, that's.
And
it's not exact mirror. I mean, I went up against somebody without a Malik, and I've got one.
Yeah,
they still won. I don't want to talk about it, but
but I mean, there's things like that. It almost seems like it's penalizing you. Hey, I have this roster, but you lose one team, you mess up one counter, and then especially if they place Darth Revan on defense, which that happened to me. I went through. They had more speed on their Darth Revan team. I lost. Guess what? I don't got another counter for that. That Darth Revan sat there and they cleared me. Congratulations, they win. It wasn't because of better roster. It wasn't going through like that. It was literally a mod game at that point. It wasn't the way I played because I play the same way within my arena, all my arena teams, and can walk over Darth Revan the same way I played. So it's RNG and mods what came down to who won that battle.
Yeah, and that's my y'all know me. I try to stay optimistic, but that's my biggest complaint right now with the game is the Darth Revan meta is lazy. I mean, it's just straight speed, and that's it. Whoever lucked out and got the best mods wins. And
Yes.
there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Yeah, and that I'm hoping over time that weighted GP is going to go through and include win-loss record within Grand Arena and some other stats like that, in which it will balance out and not seem like perfect mirror matches, which that weighted GP is going to be very, very close to right now.
Yeah, and I think it will. And in a perfect world, you got to remember matchmaking. Again, in a perfect world means you're going to win half the time,
Yes.
which means you lose half the time.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to lose half the time.
Yeah. No, no, don't get me wrong. I don't mind that. I just don't like the concept of going through and having a match based on a coin flip.
Yeah. Well,
I like a little bit placing more strategy. Like, hey, if I can go through and outsmart this guy by placing this team, and I guess it is kind of that, in which it comes down to strictly can you outmaneuver a player by how you mod teams on defense, and can you trip them up, and then hopefully have enough to clear them.
yeah, there's the 8 teams really opens up a little more strategy. So kind of on that note, who who's coming off the bench? We've been used to not having to play so many teams. Do you have anybody you're trying to gear up now to put in Grand Arena?
Not really. Right now, I just put in a crap first order team that I have not touched other than OG Kylo that has a Zeta at Gear 11 for the original tank raid. That's the only character really on that team that is worth a damn. What I'm going to do is basically hold steady on what I was planning to do, which was finish up my Grievous and Droid team. It appears, looking at the Geo TB, that a Geonosian team is going to be very crucial. So I'll probably end up gearing them up, which I was already planning on, and just slide them into a defensive slot. And then kind of going in plug and play. I'm going to focus on Geo TB teams and slide them over and try to find a spot for them within my Grand Arena matchups.
That doesn't sound like a bad strategy. I'm kind of doing the same. I thought I was done at Gear 12 plus 3 or whatever, but that gets you off the bus at Geonosian Town.
Well, Geonosian Town going through doesn't make a difference until you get Bruce.
Yeah.
We went through and looked at that kit, and yeah, Bruce is what makes that team click. So yeah, I think you're fine at Gear 12. You just need to get Bruce up there, and even at Gear 10 or 11, I think he's survivable enough that's going to help that team, and you're going to be fine as soon as you get him up there.
There's one issue. There's a combat mission in Phase 1 that requires Poggle as the leader.
Ooh, I did not see that.
Yeah.
Well, I think Bruce has his unique will help out a lot, not just his leadership, as far as survivability. And you call in the ally slot also, so you actually get another character, another Geonosian that's going to be attacking at that point.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. As far as my Grand Arena strategy, I'm weak against certain teams. I'm trying to expand my counter options. Imperial Troopers, I need to get up a little more. Phoenix is always.
Your Imperial Trooper team, who are you planning on using them for a counter for?
Probably Night Sisters.
Night Sisters? Okay. I didn't know if you were doing that or planning on using them because they can be a counter for bounty hunters.
Bounty hunters I can usually take out with Ray, but if I would love to use Ray for somebody else if I could.
Yeah, because Ray would be a better counter for possibly Grievous.
Yeah, because my cheap teams are pretty cheap. My Ewoks need a little work. Just kind of work across the board.
So where are your Ewoks?
They're Gear 11. I think
Okay.
Elders at Gear 12.
All right. So when you went through, when we were talking about Grand Arena earlier, you said you went up against the First Order team and they nearly one shot, or basically one shot of your Elder, correct?
Yeah, it was pretty close. He got stunned, or he got shut down, and it kind of collapsed from
How
there. They
many
were using
Zetas do you
Phasma and Special Forces typewriter pilot, and they're hitting pretty hard.
How many Zetas do you have on your Ewoks?
Uh, Chirpa and Logray.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause when we were talking and how I set up, we were discussing on how we set up our teams, and I went through and said basically my Ewoks are a flex team. If I go through and look at the guy's roster and they have basically a maxed out First Order team that I can see their guilds like, hey, we're setting First Order in Territory Wars, and it's sitting there, I know they're going to put it on defense. I don't know anybody who puts First Order and saves them for offense. So if that's the case, I save my Ewoks for offense to specifically take out a First Order team. Nothing else. If they aren't First Order isn't there, I set my Ewoks on defense. I do not have a problem with First Order, but all my Ewoks are Gear 12. I believe I have all the Zetas on the Ewoks currently. I have
Yeah, that's a heck of a team.
Yeah, so it's like I don't have that problem as far as getting one shot. If he gets stunned, I have cleanses, and I can just call in Ewok Elder, and it'll cleanse him, and it'll attack and start that turn meter train, and I'm fine. I don't have any issues up until it's a little iffy as soon as they get around like 57,000 health on crew. Then it can get a little hairy, but hey, most people don't have their crews modded up that high. I think I've run into like one Kylo Ren
Yeah.
in which I had to go through and do a different strategy because I think he was at like 62,000 health.
Yeah, you can pretty much almost guarantee you're going to have to take out a First Order team. You're going to have to take out a Kira team with Ness and L3.
That would be another team that's worth being able to use JTR for rather than using JTR on bounty hunters.
So I think one team I want to get off the bench is the old Poe and Finn team, where you get, I know it's been reworked a little bit, but still get that exposed out early with a fast Poe and start wrecking shop. Throwing Haldo and Rose in there, and Mike could do some decent work.
As long as you can get them up to gear 12, that'll be fine.
Yeah,
That's going to be the big thing. You need them up to gear 12 because they need to be able to hit hard enough to be able to make that work.
all right.
With the new protection increases, I'm curious to see, because there's certain like Stormtrooper Han. I went through and had gear 11. I think he's one piece away from gear 12 that I was using for my Kira Scoundrel team. So very curious to see how he actually works out. I'm going to have to work on some of his mods here at some point just because of the protection increase. See if that actually helps him. I would imagine with protection increase and then you have protection bonuses with Kira that he's going to get a little bit tankier and be able to help the team out a lot more than he was.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of people are slowly coming around on these changes, and as Gear 13 starts rolling out the next couple of Grand Arena, we're really going to see some interesting teams popping back up, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be, I don't know if we went through and have it listed here on Gear 13 on preferences on who you're going to go after as far as taking up to Gear 13. The way everything seems to me, and what I'm looking at is the best way to go about doing Gear 13 is actually not doing a full team. Because you're trying to stretch your resources for Grand Arena, Territory Wars, Arena, Geo TB. It seems like it's going to be better off, like for Arena, Basilisk Fallen. It will be a very good character to take up to Gear 13 almost immediately. And then it's kind of taking one or two characters per team and taking them up to Gear 13 based on that big boost on how much either damage, health they gain, Grievous would be another one to take to Gear 13 because of the massive advantage that he gets for
Right,
being
and a
taken
lot of
up
it's going
there.
to depend on your priorities too. If you're straight arena, of course, probably going to start on your arena team. If you're in a guild that's really pushing hard to max out Geo TB, yeah, start looking at
Well,
those because you're going to need Gear 13.
well, Geo TB, like the two characters named Grievous, so that would go through. That will probably take your droid team up over the edge to be able to go through and walk through, not walk through, but be able to complete Geo TB missions. We will see towards the end if that's true, or if you're going to need everybody at Gear 13. Basilisk Fallen, another one. Another dark side, another character that you can use within Geo TB to take up the Gear 13. Then you're splitting up your characters and being able to get two teams out of those characters. It will help out with two teams for Territory Wars. It will help out with two teams for Grand Arena. I think that's going to be my strategy and not actually just trying to focus down on straight Gear 13 for a whole team.
Yeah, it's probably the best bet. Spread it out for a little bit. But well, let's talk about Gear 13. The gear is actually farmable, which kind of a surprise.
Not that it's showing up though. Did you see this bug?
It is now.
Oh, it is now. Yeah. Like when you're going through, at one point you could go through and actually click in. If you went into your gear list, you can click on those pieces, and when you hit find, it would not actually pop up the hard node that it was farmable in.
Before the title update, it wasn't showing up, but it's showing up now because I've been farming them. So that's good. It's not tied to the latest event, so that's going to help out guilds that maybe aren't ready for Geonosis yet. So that's cool. I wasn't quite expecting that.
Yeah, other things that were changed to be a little bit more farmable. The ships did get switched to a 1 Zeta guaranteed drop for the challenges.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to even out over time, but it feels a lot better to not go a couple days without a Zeta.
No, it does not feel better to me. Because look at it this way right now. Because in regular challenges, there is a chance to get a Omega. Just a chance. Doesn't always happen, happens very rarely. There's a 0 chance. Right now, the way this is laid out now, I can get more Zetas per week than I can get Omegas.
But you can always refresh the Omega challenge, get a few more there.
You can refresh the Omega challenge.
You can too. It's 200. It's 200 crystals.
No, not that Omega challenge. The actual daily challenges.
Right, yeah. No, I'm talking about the hot Omega battles.
Yeah,
whatever.
No, I'm talking going through the actual
yeah.
daily challenges that you just hit sim and it comes out with ability mats. There are chances for Omegas in there, and yeah, you don't really get them very often. And now I can get more Zetas than I can get Omegas within a week, which does not feel good to me because you need more Omegas overall within the game than Zetas. Even though it's 20 Zetas per ability, it also has Omegas in there, and then every single ability has Omegas that are also needed to be able to get there.
Yeah, there's definitely an Omega crunch.
Yeah, the crunch is not Zetas. The crunch is Omegas, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they sell Omegas. Yeah, every once in a while we'll get that Omega pack.
Yeah, let's... pricing. Buy Omegas. Why am I buying Omegas when I can buy Zetas? Oh, but...
Anyway.
That is for another day. Because we finally can figure out where the hell Bruce was.
Yeah, he released yesterday. He's in Cantina, 16 node or 16 energy node.
Those Mandalorians were hiding him.
They were. Oh, speaking of Mandalorians, I forgot to give a shout out earlier when we were talking about the division breakdown and all that. Listener of the show, Mandalore, He's got a YouTube channel out there kind of covering some stuff. So if you want to see a new face and check out some new takes on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, check him out. He's got a good video on Bruce. Now that I'm talking about him, they actually wailed out on him, got got him unlocked and geared up, and running some tests on him. So check that out.
Yeah, I'm going through spending my refreshes trying to get Bruce up unlocked and then serviceable as quick as possible. So I'm actually back to doing 3 refreshes for Cantina to try to speed that up and get that done as soon as possible.
Yeah, did you get the pack?
I did not get the pack, but I am going hard on those refreshes. Especially, I would recommend doing that for right now because of the frequency this Geo TB is going to be to start off with until we get a light side Geo TB.
Yeah, I mean, there's for most. I mean, unless you're just in a completely dedicated guild where everybody's expected to have this character right away, for most guilds, you're not going to be getting any watt shards in any useful quantity for a while. And by that time, everybody should have a chance to farm them up. Now, I didn't take my own advice completely. I did buy one of the 2,500 or 2,600 crystal gambler packs. Got a whopping 15 shards. So quit doing that.
Yeah, it's going through, but at the same time, definitely farm Bruce quickly.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
When
yeah.
you're going through at this point and they're saying you can run the GOTB anytime Hoth is running. So you're getting twice the opportunity to be able to run this map currently, which is twice the opportunity for Wat Tambor shards as soon as you actually get Bruce up and ready to go. It seems like a no-brainer to try to make that happen before the next territory battles comes out and it gets cut in half very quickly. Then your opportunity gets cut in half. It takes longer to get Wat Tambor start up. It's a snowball effect. I'll go through and bite the bullet right now and try to help out as much as possible while we're basically getting, to me it almost seems like double drops for this TB.
Yeah, that's a good point. Kind of going off what our assumptions are, we should be getting light side into August, early September, and like I said, it will cut our opportunity to get Wat Tambor shards in half. But yeah, I got the $40 or $30 pack, whatever. Putting those Crytek's in there was a smart move. That made it really tempting. So I went and picked that up, bought that other pack, and I've been farming hard. I just unlocked Bruce right before we started recording. Really easy gear. So should be able to take him up pretty quick. Don't have the Zetas or anything for him, and he won't be usable for a little bit longer, but I got him started.
Yeah, I'm definitely ahead of the game on some of this stuff, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But the territory battle platoons. Phew.
Yeah, it's this whole territory battle seems very streamlined. They cut the fat out. There's no 3 days of easy crap, just autoing and deploying and you're done. Everything matters now. Every battle, every platoon, every bonus matters to get this thing maxed out. So they're making their choices difficult, especially considering a lot of these teams. If you take one character out, the team's done.
Yeah, the synergy on these teams are very difficult. Even going through with the platoons, they requiring General Grievous. Well, there takes out your Droideka, your B1, and it goes through some of the missions actually requiring Separatists. You go through and lose General Grievous, you basically lose a whole team there. Darth Revan and Malak, Basilisk Fallen are required in a lot of these platoons. That basically neuters or completely takes out a Darth Revan team. So, yeah, I don't know if they're trying to go through and make you stretch your roster or just trying to take out specific meta teams that they know
Little bit of
are
both.
capable of going 4 for 4 on these missions.
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I've seen a lot of guilds. They are assigning platoons by factions. So instead of like finding the person with the weakest Kylo Ren or whatever, like one person will be in charge of the first order platoons.
Yeah.
Because once you take one out, you might as well put them all in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that makes sense to me. You're not even so, I wouldn't say call them factions, but deploying based on team. It's like, hey, if you place your Darth Revan, well, you might as well place your
Right.
Malik, Bastila Fallen, HK-47, possibly Sith Trooper. Just place them all because that team is basically dead to you.
Yeah, and there's some pretty cool bots and tools out there to help your guild assign these teams. They'll find the person with the weakest first order, weakest Sith, whatever, and help you identify those.
Yeah, if they have the weakest and a full team of it, even better.
Right. Get your garbage out there in platoons.
That's right.
Let's see. What else we got the negotiator kit.
Yeah, and was exactly like we called it. Went
Yep.
through and got put in the news store.
Yep, not surprising, and it's like they just wrote down, okay, what can we do to kill Millennium Falcon? All right, he needs to do A, B, and C. All right, slap negotiator on it, done.
Yeah, it does seem like that as far as the kit goes, but looks can be deceiving sometimes. We do know this. Curious to see the actual ship in action to see actually if it translates into the game itself.
I think it will.
I think it will too, but at the same time, what we talked about the last couple weeks, the last time they've had these characters announced, they go through and they gave the exact team that is needed for this ship. There's no theory crafting. It's, hey, this is the team you need. This is going to be the team you want with the negotiator. Just farm it up and get it, and then plug it in. You'll do good.
Yeah, they said that. There's still a couple things you might could do. I was looking at.
I mean, there might be some nesting dolls within there, but as soon as the character comes out within that nesting doll situation, they're going to say pairs very well with the negotiator, and the only theory crafting is what ship am I replacing the new one with?
Well, I was just thinking the extinction bomber, it applies days, and that's a big part of the negotiator kit. Mm-hmm. And that, of course, days is going to shut down Millennium Falcon, so that could be pretty cool. So
it could be, but without any of the bonuses, it almost seems like it's dead weight.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. What I'm interested to see if there's going to be a team that counters negotiator, because that's going to open up a definite paper rock scissors in Fleet Arena, which may be what they want, because there's still not a whole lot of interest with Fleet Arena, and a lot of it is because it's have and have not. Right now, if you don't have Millennium Falcon, you're not competing. Why bother? If this opens up to where you don't need Millennium Falcon, you can succeed with Negotiator, succeed with Falcon, or against whatever the counter team the Negotiator is. That's gonna open it up to a lot more people.
It could create a very interesting strategies too for territory war focused guilds. And not only players, because if they go through and say, guys, we're going to pick 25 players, or not even, I guess 25, say they even do, if there's no counter, hey, we want these 5 or 10 people to go after the negotiator first. Don't worry about Gear 13. And then they put them as ship defenses. And there's no very good or very easy counter to it. They could sit there and win because there's 2 zones the other opposing guild can't get through.
Right. Yeah, I just can't imagine them having a completely unbeatable team. So we'll see how it goes.
And then Darth Revan was released.
Yeah, touche.
Or I shouldn't say Darth Revan. I should say Malik came out for that team.
Right. Well, I've seen many a video that Padme
Yeah.
destroys Malik.
Yeah,
Their Padme does. Mine does not.
I was gonna say it. There's plenty of videos of when they're very modded very well, and specifically to be able to do that, and then they can take out Darth Revan, but
Yeah.
just
I think
about
that
nothing else because they are modded specifically to take out that character, and if you don't place that on defense and they try to attack it, anybody else, they are riding the struggle bus.
exactly. Let's see. Speaking of struggle buses, woo, we got Geonosian territory battles. They said it was going to be hard. It is hard.
Yeah, it. Well, I'm gonna have to go with you on this one. I have not. I looked at the map. I looked at platoons. I have not gone in there and attempted anything yet.
Our there's a lot of guilds that are like really, you know, studying this thing and trying to max it out. Our guild is more, you know what, this is first time through. We're gonna screw it up. So have fun, try some things out, and we'll see how it goes. So we're not super worried about it this time around. So I went ahead and went in. We are sitting at 1 star as we speak.
Woo!
Yeah, we're a 222 million GP guild.
Well, with
So
with
it's
our that GP glitch earlier in the week,
right. Yeah, for a while we weren't.
we were at 207.
Right.
People started asking about it. I looked. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I looked in and just saw our GP drop. I was like, "I don't know where we were, but now we're at 207, and we did not go through and lose anybody. So I don't know what happened."
Yeah, I mean we should be able to deploy up and get probably 4 stars on phase one. But the days of just maxing out the phase and waiting, it's done for a while, which is fine. We got to ride this thing out for a year at least,
Yeah,
before we max it out.
it's tuned for nesting dolls that they have yet to announce yet. Like Geonosians with Bruce, it doesn't seem like they hit hard enough to be able to really do much. So a slight tune-up on Geos seem very possible to increase the damage within that team to make them viable. Gear 13 is another one. Wat Tambor within teams are another one. There's a lot of different ways that this is actually going to become easier over time, and they put that goalpost out there to try to make this last as long as possible. So we're definitely going to struggle through it here. Oh,
Yeah,
probably at least through the end of the year.
You know, we burn through single player content pretty quickly. So what they're doing is just like a value conscious parent. They just bought us some big ass pants at the beginning of the school year and a belt, and we're just gonna have to grow into it. We ain't getting no new pants for a while. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just looking at the oh shoot
The map.
the map and the explanation, the abilities, and all that. There's a lot of interesting characters on this map. We've got Padawan Anakin in there. We've got Clone Trooper Pons, which I don't remember him. Do you?
Not off the top of my head.
I got to Wikipedia him. Coyote Mundi is in there.
I believe they had a clone ARC trooper.
ARC trooper or a clone medic. Shock T is in there as a enemy character. Just
Vulture droids.
Yeah, Vulture droids are in there. That's going to be a given unit or provided unit for one of the missions.
The interesting thing are these characters in hints of what's to come, or are they just PvE specific characters? Because especially the clones, Cody and those type of clones, the kits are very similar, but they aren't exact, and they do have changes within the kits, almost like the hinting at there's some sort of rework coming for the clones, and we're kind of getting a hint at what it might be or what it might entail based on these PvE versions of the characters.
Yeah, I think so. I think Coyote Mooney is a pretty good, safe bet. And of course, we've been saying that forever. The named clone pawns, I think we'll probably get. Some of the generic clones, probably not. Like clone lieutenant or clone sharpshooter. I don't see us getting that. They'll probably put that kit in a named character down the road.
Yeah, Wolfie, Heavy. There's tons of other
Yeah, Bad
droid.
Batch.
Yeah, Nines. There's a ton of other clones to be able to use, named clones to be able to
Right.
use.
So, kind of going up against these, my Phase 1 performance, I used a Darth Revan team. It's my arena team, maxed out 4-4, actually pretty easy. I got 4 out of 4 with Treya, along with Thrawn and Emperor Palpatine. Pretty easy there, too. Kind of got close to losing Palps a couple times, but I was able to heal him back up. My Night Sisters only got 3 out of 4 with Asajj Ventress lead. And I was using Talia, try to get a little more healing in there, but I think I've seen some other people have better luck with Night Sister Spirit, so I may put that one in next time.
Yeah, I might try that, but go through and slot in Acolyte. I have my Acolyte at Gear 12, so maybe I'll do it that way.
Now, what surprised me was there's a mission that requires a Poggle lead. And I got Poggle Gear 12. I got all my Geonosians Gear 12. I've got gold mods on them. I assumed I was ready to go. I was not ready to go.
I still don't have what it takes. I must train harder.
So you're required to use Poggle the Lesser's lead. You're required to use Sunpack and Geonosian Soldier. I filled in with Spy and Dooku. Now, my Dooku is not Zated yet, so that held against me there. And they did refund all of Geonosian Spy's ability mats because they changed it.
Yes.
Now, I forgot to put them back on before I went into this matchup. So I did go in with Geonosian Spy kind of crippled a little bit. I don't think it made that big a difference. I still walked away with 0 ways out of 4. I didn't even clear the first one. Jedi Knight, or the clone medic, will revive other clones. Jedi Knight Guardian was doing some work. It was a lot rougher than I was expecting for Phase 1. So back to the drawing board on that one.
I think it's Bruce. Bruce is going to be the key to that one.
I think so. Even under Poggle lead, like I said, his unique's gonna help out there.
Yep.
So maybe next time. And then the special mission got 2 out of 4. I wasn't able to finish it, but I was using what was I using?
Were you using General Grievous?
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to pull it up here. Great show. You have to have Newt Gunray, B1 Battle Droid, B2 Super Battle Droid, and Droidica. And so I filled in Grievous on that team. And I don't have the Zeta on Newt yet, so that just did not work out.
So essentially that's going through and answering my question on where do you place Newt within a team?
Well,
you don't place Newt in a team. CG tells you you are using Newt in this team.
Yeah, and he is the leader. He has to be. So that I may end up zating him and Dooku just for this mode. Some other teams I saw people using Bosk Bounty Hunters with Wampa. People were able to get 4 out of 4 on that using Wampa, Django, Bosk, and Dengar, I believe.
Yeah. Always a good team.
Yeah. Troopers don't seem to be doing very well at this point. First Order, I hadn't seen too much luck with that, unless you're just a hardcore First Order player. Shakti, she is no joke. You go up against her, it was shocking.
Oh,
Yeah, I said in Discord chat. She gave me a shonky punch. Just
oh man.
shut my team down.
Oh, it's getting deep over here.
It is, yeah. I'm gonna steer us back out of here. But yeah, I think over the next week we're gonna start getting more strategies, a few more uh, team
Non,
compositions,
yeah.
and how to deal with these specific characters. Because you got the fish Jedi is back. You got medics. There's all kinds of revives going on, and these have a lot of protection you got to chew through.
All right. I mean, the other thing that you have listed that we saw here is you're going to need 2 ship fleets.
Yeah, in phase 2 and 3, they actually have 2 ship battles.
So this seems more like your hints that you were getting at Celebration. That Geos will be needed and Sith ships. I think this is your answer on why Sith ships were going to be needed, because you needed these 2 full fleets for the territory battles.
Right. Now on phase 2, you've got one dark. They're both just dark side requirements. One you have to use these exotics, and the other you have the event unit for Chimera and Vulture Droid. So you don't necessarily have to have Chimera unlocked. You're going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, of course, I think a lot of people have their Geo ships in a fairly good spot. It's going to be interesting, kind of dusting off some of the older ship metas, bringing back.
Is it all ships or just dark side ships?
Just dark side ships.
If it's dark side ships, you're pretty. I guess you could use bounty hunters.
There's bounty hunters. There's.
I might be okay then. If I can use my bounty hunter ships.
The TIE Silencer is a real good ship.
Yeah.
Reaper's good. Even Scimitar is pretty good. Plus, you also have.
You say they're good now, but I'm sure they went through and tuned the event where you almost have to use all the new Sith ones to be able to get by, and you might not be able to piecemeal the old metas together to get by.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that is on phase 2 and 3. On phase 3, the Geonosian ships are actually required, so you will have to use those in one combat mission, and the others is anything. And then the final is just one dark side.
All right. Speaking of capital ships and everything, did you see that they shortened the animations?
I did, yeah. It's a little jarring at first, but I like it. I don't mind it.
I prefer this just because going through ship battles are such a slog because they're so slow, and a lot of it's strictly because of animations. You're waiting more on animations than you are trying to play through a strategy, so I do like this change.
Yeah, I like the change too, especially when some of these battles are going to go just right down to the wire.
Yeah. Then I have one last thing that had me thinking as I was farming Yorabar. I was also farming Range Trooper at the same time. They pretty much started at the same place. And I'm only at... Where am I at with Range Trooper? I think I'm at 70 of 100 with Range Trooper. And I'm completely done with Yorabar. Which got me thinking about the amount of time CG has claimed, oh, we don't have this in here, with that patent that said the drop rates are the drop rates. They do not change at all. But the patent says basically that drop rates will change that were unperceivable to the player base. And my thought in question, do you think it's possible CG is put this in for lower end characters / older characters, in which you're actually farming shards quicker for older characters versus newly released characters, and that is where at least they're applying this drop rate change?
I don't think so. I think it's too much work and too much risk.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed very curious to me because I was actually... even slower on URR because for him, I would not do both nodes some days because I went through and it's like, oh, nope, I need to do gear. But every day I refreshing Range Trooper and just falling further and further behind this Tusken. I was like, how is this possible other than he's an older character and I'm getting much better drops with him day after day compared to Range Trooper. So it's just something popped in my mind and recalled with the drops in that pattern there. I was like, man, if you were a player, you wouldn't even notice that, especially a longer term player, because you don't go back and farm these older characters.
Yeah, it could be a watch pot type of situation. You're not paying any attention to so
Yeah.
it kind of sneaks up on you when you're really wanting Range Trooper. You're gonna be a lot more aware
I really
of that.
want Range Trooper, and I'll go through and get 1-2 shards, and then next thing I know, I'll go to URR the next day, or not even the next day, just click on his nodes, and I get 3 shards for 5 attempts, and then 4 shards for 5 attempts, and I'm like, I got 7 shards, and Range Trooper I got 2. I'm like, all right, well, that's harsh. Or I get none for Range Trooper, and I get like 5 for the Tusken. I'm like, man, this is rough.
You just get prepared for the inevitable Tusken meta.
That is right.
All right. Any more thoughts on Geo TB? Kind of went through it quickly, but we see the teams. We're still working strategies out. Maybe by next week we will.
Yeah, we'll go through
kind of get a better idea.
Yeah, we'll go through and try to get compile a list of teams that we're seeing that works, and we'll let you know.
Yep, show.
So what are we looking at as far? We got questions or anything?
Yeah, we got a few questions.
All right.
Veritable question man Cotman asks, which character has the worst face art?
Whew. I don't think that's even a question. That has to be Sabine.
Yeah, that one's pretty rough. And we mentioned this last week. They've come so far with the character animations and art that the older characters look even worse by comparison.
It's not even. So all the artwork looks great, and you could actually even throw Mission in here. I don't know what it is with some of the character models. They're, especially the female faces, just do not seem right. In a lot of the things they do.
Some of the older ones, like Jin, Urso, and Scavenger Ray, they look like a me.
Yeah.
From the Wii, like the outline of a face is pasted on, and yeah, Sabine's awful. I think what bothers me the most is how small Mob Enforcer's head is in the character portrait.
Trying to blend in, trying to hide, camouflage.
It's like come a little closer to the camera, Mob Enforcer. The lines on the floor.
Nope.
Move up a few steps.
Nope.
Like,
nope.
No.
Trying to blend in here. Got to move back.
and then like Mission's the opposite. She's just all up on the camera.
Yeah, all up in there.
Like, take a step back. Kira's pretty bad too.
Yes, but all her artwork looks great. And then you look at the character model and you're like, ugh.
I think it's just the facial expression they tried to put on her.
Yeah, probably.
Just didn't translate well. So anyway, that's my answer there.
She just can't take selfies.
Yeah, that's it. She's a busy girl. She's got things to do.
She got to step up her selfie game.
Yeah, it's all about marketing. All right, let's see what other questions we have. A lot of conversation about, is it better to get gear or the negotiator with the new currency? Because we will be able to buy both out of the store. My cat has some opinions on it.
I am, for me personally, I'm going to end up going after at least a couple Gear 13 characters before I go after the negotiator, because I do not have the team to make that capital ship work. So it doesn't benefit me going after the negotiator right now.
I am going to save my currency with the intention of
Buying the
using it,
other characters that come out.
well, to get the negotiator all at once when the time comes, or whatever else comes out if they do release another character or the ship meta goes a direction we're not expecting it. I do have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of the things involved with this territory battle are kind of, hey, look at the new shiny stuff to get us to dump all of our saved up resources from the last year before the really cool stuff comes out.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility that, and I could see benefits either way. It does sound like there's more characters coming to that store, so it's not a bad idea to hoard and then decide whether it's worth going after the new character, the new ship, gear. But like I said, I think I'm going to go after some of the new gear, at least for like Basilisk, Fallen, and General Grievous, to try to get some of these characters bumped up a little bit higher and make arena life a little bit easier, Geo TB a little bit easier, and just see how much health I can put on General Grievous.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is going to depend on your unique situation. How early you start seeing Gear 13 in your arena, and how far that's going to impact your ranking. I don't see a single one yet.
Or
You got a lot more competitive shard. Do you see any Gear 13s yet?
I have not checked yet, honestly. I've been trying to avoid that. As far as even thinking about that happening already.
There are some out there. I saw on Reddit. Somebody has a Gear 13 cup already.
The cup meta is real.
It's there. So somebody had to do it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's worth going after the negotiator if you don't have those ships start up or those characters geared up, because I'm not gearing up any of those characters right now because I'm focusing strictly on separatists. I'm not going to be able to go after those characters in a long time to make those ships viable for the negotiator. So it's Gear 13. There's no point to do otherwise for me.
I think I may end up trying to kind of mix it because we are going to be getting drops and farming stuff, so we'll be able to get Gear 13 without spending the event tokens. It will speed up the process quite a bit. We'll see how the drops go and how that works out. Got another question. Let's see. Thoughts on the current, or Seven asks thoughts on the current Grand Arena matchmaking, going against opponents in different divisions, asking for a friend, winky face. We kind of talked about this. I think there's a lot more meaningful data points you're looking at other than just GP and division. So if they got that right, it shouldn't really matter.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes through. Get through these exhibitions and then see how everything pans out from there.
And that is all the questions this week.
All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing any Gear 13 in my arena yet, surprisingly. And I'm not encouraging them. They can stay Gear 12 as long as they want. Yeah, I have some very big whales that have pretty much all their rosters at Gear 12, and I'm not seeing any Gear 13 yet, which I am thankful for, at least for the time being. Yeah, it's coming, though. Yeah, speaking of Gear 13, who you bumping and grinding on? No, nobody Gear 13 just yet. I am... was working on my Separatists and Galactic Republic. There's really not much else I can put on them. So other than farming mods and trying to get them up a little bit more, I'm Bruce. Gotta bump and grind Bruce. Well, I am doing that. Actually, it's such an easy gear. I should be able to get him up fairly quickly. I gotta get those damn green discs out of the never-ending store whenever they come back. Yeah, the never-ending farm. Yeah. So I'm waiting on those, and that's it. Farming Bruce, I got him. It's, like I said, I unlocked him, so I'm at 0.65. He should be usable by next territory battle, and that's it. What about you? Kind of holding off on gearing right now. Just try to figure out how the teams pan out within territory battles, and then I'll decide specifically who to gear up. Whether I have to go through and kind of shift away from my droid team and then to Geo TB or the Geonosian, jeez. Or if I have to go and gear Newt, Count Dooku, something like that. So,
Well, take a look at the required missions. There are a lot of those. Like there's a battle you have to use Dooku, you have to use Asajj. There's another one you have to use Newt.
yeah, so if they go through, I might have to go through and kind of focus on those key characters first, or like I said, I'm going to go through the first round, see how everything looks, and then decide whether I'm going to continue focusing on that specific team or two teams, and then go after those characters and mix and match them from there or not. Other than that, Hard Nodes, Jordica, Range Trooper should be finished up here shortly. Obviously, Bruce and Cantina, switch over that, doing refreshes, B1, Guild Store still buying Malik. The other thing in which you were saying you do not have for your characters that I mentioned, I'm kind of holding off on gear for these teams. I now have over 130 Zetas saved that are sitting there and have them specifically waiting for these Geonosian map. Figure out what teams are working, what Zetas I need. That way I can place them on there and have teams ready to go.
Yeah, I think it's safe to put them on Bruce. I think it's safe to probably do Newt. Maybe Dooku. I think you should have the rest, right? Or are you still working on your Grievous?
Grievous, I would need his leadership ability. I need the Zeta on B1. And if I decide to go through with IG 100, if that Zeta is needed or not.
Okay, well, I mean, you're pretty close to having enough for all of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, I have those Zetas all saved up and just did it specifically for this reason, to kind of see what the requirements were and what the Zetas I needed for the map to be able to go through and help out the guild.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. The kind of the fallout from this map. Kind of our talk in the guild is this is going to cause some shakeup and some consolidation in the game. Do you think this is going to kill a lot of the smaller guilds?
No more than it has before. I'm expecting more of a shuffle once again for players that are going to focus more on the Grand Arena and territory battles over territory wars. That way they can farm the teams they want to. They're going to focus on territory battles so they can get the currency to buy more Gear 13 or buy more pieces to get to Gear 13 to help them out in Grand Arena. I can see that shifting, but I think it's more of a combination between Grand Arena Championships happening and territory battles at the same time that's going to cause this shift more than anything else.
Yeah, it's an exciting time in the game. There's just so many avenues we can chase now and so much more stuff to go after. And we haven't had this in a while where you actually have to kind of choose what direction you want to go in. Mm-hmm. At least for the older players. I know a lot of the newer players are overwhelmed. They're like, you asshole, there's 10 more things I got to choose now.
Yeah.
But, Geo TB is the...
No,
I'm sorry.
They kind of sort of have that, pretty much the way they lock down this new territory battle map. It's not worth the new players to go after currently. They can pretty much stay course on what they have and go from there. Yeah,
this is meant to be end of the end game content.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But so speaking of the end, speaking of the end, I do have, for the less than the price of a new piece, well, not a new piece, what am I saying? For less than the price of Bruce himself, you can get yourself a custom built lightsaber and kyber crystal from Galaxy's Edge.
You could.
You could, have a nice shiny lightsaber on the wall that you built.
You could, and they are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm tempted.
You can do that, or get one of the classic ones, the replica of Darth Maul's dual sabers, Luke's lightsaber. You can get the actual classics, which are nice too. And the Kyber crystals are very cool. They are random, with chips on what actual sayings they have and how they interact based on what crystal they are. And you can't tell whose crystal it is until you actually place it in and see what quotes and everything are on it.
I've heard there are actually black Kyber crystals you can get.
Yes, when you go through and buy a red Kyber crystal container, there is a chance for it to be black. People are actually going through with a flashlight. If you go through with your phone and hold it up to it, it's just clear enough in which you'll see the black outline of the Kyber crystal to see it as a black. It does not change your blade of the lightsaber black, unfortunately, but it does add different quotes and different sayings from... trying to remember. I know Snoke is one of the characters that are on that crystal. I forget the other ones. There's like 2 or 3 on that one.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I can't wait to go.
All right, so let's wrap things up and get on out of here then.
Yeah, hey, housekeeping. Y'all know the deal. Leave us a review on iTunes. That's all great. More importantly, join our Discord. We love talking with you. We got conversations going in all day. We talk about the game. We talk about Star Wars. We make inappropriate jokes at work. We show off our Star Wars collectibles. We talk about video games. We just have a good old time. So, if you want to hang out with us, please do. If you are inclined, leave us a review on your podcast server of choice. Helps us show up and grow. Check us out on thealliancegaming.com with all kinds of other great content creators. You can email us, cantinavisla@gmail.com. And again, if so inclined, we also have a Patreon set up, patreon.com/cantinavisla. Your support helps keep the show going. You get some perks, some bonus rooms you can get into. We have a pre-show room we started up. So if you want to hang out and chat as we get ready for the show, you will have access to that. We're still looking at the streaming thing and broadcasting and all that. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it is in the works, and we'll have probably something tied to that as well.
Yeah, we're getting there, slowly but surely.
Yeah. A lot of it's just timing. It's really hard to find an hour or two we can both sit down and record the show, and we want to have guests on, and it's even harder when you start getting 2 or 3 more people on top of that because our schedules suck already.
That is right, but we do our best, and we're here, and we try to make it at least every week for you.
Yeah, and if you're not satisfied with the content of this show, 100% money back guarantee. I will refund your purchase of this show if you're not happy.
Oh man, Stan is quite a man here, putting that out there for everybody. So, on that bombshell, let's get on out of here. Later, guys.
Yep.
As you are exiting the cantina, we would like to say thanks for stopping by, and we hope to see you out on the holo table soon.